Welcome back, everyone. It's been a little while, but
It's been a minute.
it's the usual tandem, Mo and
Mhm,
Zay here, and
mhm.
we're back at it with another episode of the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. Zay, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. We've
Good.
we've both been busy, as you touched on. I
hmm
graduated from college, and Moses has been.
Congratulations, big
Thank
man.
you. Thank you,
Yep.
sir. So got that, and Moses has been out of town, so it's been kind of hard to line things up. But we've got
Yeah.
a mock draft for you today, and we're excited to get into this.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
It's this draft class is loaded.
yeah, yep,
This is gonna be a really exciting draft.
mhm,
Couple studs,
yep,
couple future star players in this draft. So
mhm,
excited to jump on into it, man. But
yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, the way this is going to work is we're going to do the lottery for this, the top 14 picks. Moses and I are going to rotate picks. So he has the first pick. He's picking for the Spurs. Wonder who he's going to pick. Is he going to
might be a
shock the
surprise.
world?
Might be a surprise.
Might be a surprise. We don't know. So we don't know who we're picking. It's going to be on the fly. You're going to get some analysis on some of these prospects, why we
hmm
think they'd be a good fit, why we would choose a player over the other. So we're excited. And before I forget, so
Yep.
we don't end up doing this whole video and being like, damn, we forgot. We
Big
will be
announcement.
big announcement.
Yep.
Big announcement. We will be live streaming the NBA draft. 4:50 Pacific Standard Time is when the draft will start up. Moses and I will obviously be there. We've got some friends popping in when their teams are on
hmm
the clock. You're going to get analysis through it. There's been tons and tons of trade rumors.
Yep.
Uh, Big names
Something's gonna
circulating.
happen. Something's
Something's
happening
going to
on
happen.
Thursday. So
So,
we'd
it
love to see you there. Pop on for a
absolutely.
little
Yep.
bit when your
Yep.
team's pick is up. Whatever you
Yep.
want to do, stay for the
Yep.
whole thing.
Yep.
We love any type of support you guys want to give to us. So we
Totally.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And you guys are more than welcome. We want it to be really fluid. We'd love if you guys, chatted with us and we
hmm
were able to have some discussions about players and disagreements or
Yep.
agreements or all of
Yep.
those things. So, with that being said, let's get this baby started, Moses.
Perfect.
Dun 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 dun. The Spurs are on the clock, baby.
All
what,
right.
what do we got, Mo? What do
All
we
right.
got?
Well, normally, it takes like 5 minutes. I think they gave the first pick.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
I'm not gonna take that long on this one. I don't
Nope.
think. I am going to be drafting Victor Wembanyama. Let's not overthink it. Let's not be different here.
Nope.
He's clear cut number one.
Yep.
If the Spurs don't pick him, we need an investigation.
Yeah.
The only thing I see is if he gets in legal trouble between now and Thursday,
And
like
even
that.
then,
Even then, he still might go one.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, man. He's his skill set, his one-footed three-pointers, his finishing, his range on defense. It's just he is the best player in this draft and is the future of this league, barring
Yep.
the only thing I'm worried about with him, injuries.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally valid. You know, the skill set is something that you can't deny. He's 7'5".
Mhm.
He great handles, obviously.
Guard handle. Yeah.
Guard handles for a 7'5" big.
Mhm. Mhm.
Going to an amazing spot. We've talked about it in previous videos about him landing in San Antonio. I love it, man. I
Yeah.
love the fit.
Mhm.
I am curious though because he is skinnier.
Yep.
Kind of similar to like Chet Holmgren last
Chet.
year.
Yep.
Where he's basically a rookie in this class. Like the Thunder basically have a top 3 pick in this
Yeah.
year's draft, anyways.
Mhm.
So it's we did talk about how he is skinnier. So I am curious if the Spurs are gonna get a big man to kind of like move Wemby to the 4 almost
Yeah.
early on while he kind of
Mhm.
bulks up and
And
molds
Ayton.
into his body. I haven't thought of
But I
that.
don't know who they give up though for that. Like
Yeah.
would a
Yeah, I
Keldon
don't
Johnson get that
that's
done?
Yeah.
Like
It,
I don't know. Yeah.
it's interesting in theory though, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean that's it allows Wemby to move a little more off the ball instead of
Yeah.
stranding him in the paint. But yeah, I'm curious what the Spurs are gonna do, but obviously it's a great problem to have. He's the
Yeah.
best player in the class, one of the best prospects ever. Really
Mm-hmm.
excited to see what he does.
For sure, and has to be the clear cut number one.
E-
So,
easy.
yep.
So great pick, A+
Thank
pick,
you.
Mo. Money,
Thank you.
money.
Now we get into a little bit
Ooh,
of a debate.
it is.
It's quite the debate, probably the
Mhm.
debate of the draft
Yep.
in eyes of a lot of people.
Yep.
So, Zay,
Yeah.
what do you got here at number two? I don't think we touched on this. If we're gonna alternate picks, Zay
Yes.
and I,
Yep. Yep.
just for that. But what you got, Zay?
So this is tough, and as I made clear on my tangent a couple videos ago,
Mm-hmm.
I do think Scoot Henderson is the second best player in this class. I
Yeah,
truly do. And this isn't a knock on Brandon Miller. He's a 6'9" forward. Brandon is six
yep,
foot eight, who's can shoot the lights out of the ball. Like
unreal. Yeah.
he's a great scorer, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see some like Paul George in his game.
Yeah.
It is kind of the comp that I think is the best for him.
Mm-hmm.
With this pick though, I will be picking Scoot Henderson to the Hornets at 2.
Great pick.
He's a ferocious guard, man, and I think obviously, as you know, there's been a lot of talk about the pairing of
Mm-hmm.
Scoot and Mello. What do you do? But they kind of play differently on offense, anyways.
Yeah,
Scoot likes to drive. He likes to be physical. And he's really worked on his shot. It's going to need some more work, but it's
for
it's
sure.
decent.
Mm-hmm.
Where LaMelo, he can sit in the corner. He's a great playmaker, and
Yep.
I think it's a really fun pairing. And you go
Mm-hmm.
from there. You
Yeah,
deal with you know some of the struggles early on with them. It's not like the Hornets are competing this very second, anyways.
yeah,
So they've got
yeah.
time. But I really like Scoot Henderson. But this pick could very well be traded. We've we've
Yeah.
seen Zion in trade rumors and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon or Scoot got picked at 2. But my
Yeah.
pick in our mock draft, in the Flagrant Talk
Yep.
podcast mock draft, will be Scoot Henderson at 2.
And I did say in the other video the other day that I would have taken Brandon Miller at 2, but I want to retract my statement after watching some film, watch some highlights. I agree with you. Brandon Miller is going to be a great player in the league, but Scoot Henderson, his skill set, the explosive, you can't teach explosive.
No.
He's just unreal. He reminds me of Russ with the way he leaps off the ground. He has a little bit of a strap. He's just energetic. I like what I see out of him. I think he's got to go 2. I think I agree with you there. So.
Yeah. And fingers crossed. Obviously, I don't know the man personally, but he comes off as very mature. And I think that's a maturity that's really important. Listen, the Hornets have had
some issues
some
with
issues
some players
with some players in the past year. So getting a guy who, and again, I don't want to speak illy or ill-advised on Brandon Miller at all. I don't think he's a bad kid. Mistakes happen. That's okay. But I don't know if that's necessarily the thing you want to add again, the risk you want to take. I feel like
for
with
sure.
Scoot, you kind of alleviate that risk. Again, I think what happened with Brandon Miller is its own thing. I don't think he's a terrible human being, but wrong place, wrong time, and sadly, that's a stain on him. And okay. With that being said, let's go ahead, Mo. It's your pick. Portland at
Number
3. What do you got?
All right. Here, dude. This is I've been going back and forth between 2 players at this spot. And one of them is he's talked about. He should be top 3. The other one, I don't think I've heard him being talked about as top 3. I'm not gonna say his name because I'm not gonna pick him here. I think that's a little too ballsy, a little too out the way. But I think
Yeah.
that guy is a sleeper and he's gonna come up here soon. But here at the 3 spot for the Portland Trail Blazers, I'm gonna go with Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
As we talked about, the shot making, the offensive ability. He reminds me of like a Melo on offense. I can't lie.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
way he could take over games when he makes shots is insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has length too. He can drive. He has some nasty slams. He has great body control.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Defensively, obviously, you could always be better there, but that's
Yeah.
how this generation is. They're about getting in their bag. They're about hooping.
Yeah.
So I think he fits in great here in Portland, and I like what he's got. I think he deserves to be a top 3 pick in this year's draft. Say, what do you got?
I would agree. This is who I
Yep.
would take. I think
Yep.
Scoot and Brandon, it's a toss up, right? And it's going to come down to us sitting on draft day. Like, okay, Hornets are on the clock. Who do they pick? Because they essentially pick for 2 and 3.
Yep.
You know, it's probably going to be Scoot or Brandon, but crazier things have happened. You know,
Yep.
it's the draft, so we
For
don't
sure.
know what these teams are doing. But I think it's a great pick. I think regardless on if the Blazers fully reboot things and trade Dame or not, Brandon's a great piece
For
to
sure.
have. So
Yep.
we'll obviously see come draft day if the pick's traded, but if not, I love the pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we go. Here's kind of like the third tier of players, in my opinion.
sure.
Wemby's
Yep.
in his own tier, Scoot and Brandon, and now we get to this: the
Tier
Rockets.
3. And it's a good tier.
It is a good tier.
It's a slept on tier.
Yeah.
So
I agree. The Rockets are a team, obviously, with a new head coach.
Yep.
Ime Udoka coming in to that system. Big rumors about James Harden coming back. And
I haven't heard this.
yeah,
I've been out of town, so but no,
Yeah.
I haven't really heard this. Okay.
it's been pretty real, and it seems to have cooled off slightly. I personally, if I were a Rockets fan, would not want this. This is less about Harden and more about you're paying a player's last big contract.
Yeah.
And you're not contending.
Normally doesn't work out. Yeah.
No. So if they do draft Harden, I wouldn't do the pick I'm going to make. But assuming they don't, I really like Amen Thompson, one of the Thompson twins. He's the player I think is slightly better. His brother even said Amen is slightly better, which is respect because, you know, I don't know if I'd say that about my siblings.
Hell
if
no.
we were both
I'm
going
not
to the
saying
league.
that. No, sorry, Edwin. I love you, bro, but I'm not saying that.
But come on. So I really like Amen. He's athletic. He's a freak. Again, you see some of these plays where he just explodes. He's pause. But he's a
no, he can take off. He definitely has some leaping ability.
Some leaping ability. He's a great playmaker with the ball. And obviously, this is a Rockets team that I should have probably prefaced this earlier. I draft best player available 95 out of 100 times. That's
his philosophy. Yep.
Yes, that's my probably higher 99. There's very few times I think, you know, fit over that. I think Amen Thompson has some of the highest upside of any player in this class. And I think he's a really exciting piece that the Rockets could add. And they could see themselves as a play-in team this year. It wouldn't surprise me. And I think Amen Thompson would be a great fit there. Moses, any thoughts? Is there somewhere else you would have gone with that pick?
No, I don't. I don't think so. It's tough for Fitz because the other guy that I'm talking about, who I want to pick here at my 5 pick, but this team, I don't know, man. Mock drafts are tough, bro. But I think that he was the best player out of the rest of the remaining players. So from what I've seen, but
It's tough.
It gets tough here. The 4 through rest of the lottery, it's a little up in the air.
Very tough. And
Yeah.
we've even seen I've been really up to date on all this draft news recently, and like Cam Whitmore has really soared up. There's rumors that he might get picked at 4 too by Houston, and
Whoa. Yeah.
I think it maybe if they do feel really confident in getting Harden, that pick
Yeah.
makes a little more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, okay, we're gonna have a guard there. We got Jalen Green. We can have Cam Whitmore, Sengun, have Kevin Porter Jr. Like we're starting to fill out the roster a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But assuming they don't get him, I would pick Amen there. That's just me.
All right.
Yeah. Now,
fair.
hey, it's your pick now with the Detroit Pistons, obviously picking Jaden Ivey last year. Hopefully, a healthy Cade Cunningham. What have you got on this board?
This is a tough pick. I've been debating this pick in particular for a while because after this, you had helped me with 6, and I was kind of knowing 7.
Yep.
But this pick here, I've been going back and forth
Mm-hmm.
pretty heavily. But dude, I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on it. I'm gonna go with Grady Dick out of Kansas.
Wow. Wow.
And,
Hey, I like
here's
it.
why. Here's why. I think that Grady Dick, out of the remaining players here, is the best shooter on this and best prospect. Like out of the prospects, I think he's the best shooter. And Detroit needs shooting. They don't really have a shooting guard. Jaden Ivey's supposed to be that guard, or Cade Cunningham, whoever they alternate between that role is supposed to be that. But that's not a shooting guard. They're explosive guards. They're facilitate. They need a shooter. So I think Grady Dick would fit in great in Detroit. I like what is. I've seen some highlights on him. I like the dribble pull up. He's got a nice dribble pull up. He could hezzy around some guys. So he's got some good offensive moves. Obviously, again, defense. I didn't really see too much of that, but nowadays defense isn't really a big highlight unless you're a big man getting blocks. They're not really throwing steals and little stuff in there. So that's what I got in Detroit, man. What do you think about that? Because that's kind of, I know there's a couple other names here that are definitely reasonable. So what are you thinking?
Well, I'll be totally honest. Definitely surprises me. But I can see. I think it is one of those things from a fit perspective of, obviously it's not that you don't draft a guard here. If you think Asar Thompson is meant to be on your team, you draft him. And you deal with it. Worst case scenario, he's 6'7", you move him to the 3 and you do some small ball stuff, right? I like Grady Dick. I personally have in terms of my tiers, I have Wemby at 1, Scoot and Miller at 2 and 3, and then Amen, Asar, Cam Whitmore, Jarris Walker as that 3rd tier. So I'd probably be picking from there. But listen, it's I fully subscribe.
Got to be one crazy pick in the lottery. There's got to be
normally
one.
Multiple. So my thing is like, this is a mock draft, right? It's not pick. I think this player is better than this. Click. It's like, well, we don't know, and the draft is so random.
That was a random pick in the mock draft, making it a little more realistic.
Yeah, for sure. And that, I'll be honest, totally has screwed things up for me, because at 6 now for Orlando, it's a tough spot, right? Obviously, Paolo Banchero winning Rookie of the Year is huge for them. They have some nice younger pieces. Jalen Suggs is a guy they hope can kind of figure it out. Markelle Fultz has had a bit of a resurgence in this year. I'm going to pick an interesting one, though, and Asar is going to slide a little bit. I like Cam Whitmore here. Solid defender. He's athletic. He's a very solid scorer. And obviously there's a couple, nicks on his game. It's going to be like that with every prospect. Can he become a consistent shooter is the big, is this possible? Because in this day and age, you at least have to be a threat to be defended. I have faith that Cam Whitmore can do that, and I think it would be a really interesting fit in Orlando to see what they do. Him and Paulo Banchero as their two forwards, and I really like this fit. So I'm gonna go with Cam Whitmore out of Nova. Kind of cool because normally Villanova guys are not getting picked this high.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's kind of cool to see like a top 10, top 5 prospect come out of Villanova.
Yeah. And I would agree with you on this pick as
Wow,
well.
awesome. Great.
I
Great.
think Asar slides a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I like what he's got. I like
Yeah.
the 3-point shot is definitely the big question
Yeah.
mark. I
Yeah.
love his motor. He's up and down the court. He's everywhere
Yeah.
on the court.
Yeah.
So just work on the shot and he'll be a great player in the league.
Yeah, I like him a lot. And obviously he's one of the risers in this draft. So we'll see what happens. But you're on the clock now with Indiana here at 7. What have you got?
Pick number 7. This is the pick this is the guy that I think could go as high as top 3. And that is going to be Mr. Jarris Walker out of Houston.
Love it.
Zay, this guy plays way bigger than 6'7".
Yes.
His length and his timing is impeccable. Like, it's insane. It reminds me of Robert Williams. Like, he plays like that big. And the timing on the blocks, and he's explosive. He'll body into guys. He has a nice little mid-range. He has some nice little touch. Like, I like his skill set and what I've seen out of him. And I think he'd fit great in with Miles Turner, with Buddy Hield. I don't really think the Pacers are going to be looking. I don't know. The Thompson twins, I hadn't really heard much of them until a little bit ago when I started doing this draft stuff. I didn't see too much on them, and again, like we've talked about, what's his name? Amen was the better of the two.
Yeah,
I didn't really see that much on Asar, so I could be sleep on him, and I could be disrespecting him right now. But from what I saw out of Jarris Walker, I think he could go as high as top 3. So yeah.
I love this pick. I actually. In doing some mock drafts on my own, I think Jarris at 5 to Detroit is a pick that I think kind of makes sense. So I have
was
him as
thinking
high
of
as
doing
top
that as
5.
well. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of respect for Jarris Walker. He's a great player. He sets the defensive tone for a team. And like you said, when you see him play, you're like, oh, he's like 7 foot.
Yes.
He's a 7-footer. He's not. He's 6'7", and it allows for them you can run. You know, if you really wanted to, you could run him at the 3. Probably not feasible forever, but if you wanted to big ball a team, just throw some big physical bodies out there and disrupt the team in the paint.
Isaiah. Sorry, this is the Pacers. Him, Miles Turner. Freaking dude. Just freaking beasting down in the paint. Yeah.
I love Jarris Walker and Turner. Like you said, Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton. I think that's a play-in caliber team. We'll see if they can get a guy or two in free agency. But
maybe Benedict Mathurin has a sophomore season jump too, because he had a solid rookie year. Was he second? Did he end up second in rookie year voting? Because he was number 1 for a while.
Yes, he came out. He had a stretch during last season where it was like, wow, this kid is great. Paulo came in that first like week or two and was on fire. He had like 20 points or up every game for like a super long stretch. I love the pick.
Thank you.
Of the Pacers. So good. A+.
Thank you, sir. Number
Wizards
8,
now.
Washington.
Just traded Bradley Beal to Phoenix. So, in my opinion, you drafted the guy with the highest upside. And in fact, you hope that you get the first pick next year. You just, at this point, you're fully rebuilding. So you can take a little more of a risk on this pick, which is a little good. Kuzma's a free agent. Porzingis is a free agent. There's a lot at play here. So I'm going to pick the guy who I think has the most upside of any player left. The other Thompson twin who's found himself sliding a little bit
Yeah.
There's obvious similarities between him and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a 5-pound difference between the
Yeah.
two of them. But I like Asar a lot. I think he may be a bit of a better defender than Amen. And I think he's a guy who you can plug and play on this Wizards team who's desperately looking for direction.
Yeah.
They've been in kind of like purgatory the last couple years where it's like they're not awful and they'll never get the first pick, but they're not contenders and they're missing the
Probably.
playoffs
Yeah. Not
consistently.
making the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they're just it's the worst space to be. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can say whatever you want about the Beal trade and that's whatever. But I'm glad that they're at least like, hey, let's blow this baby up. We'll see what they do with Kuzma and Porzingis. But I really like Asar Thompson as they kind of mold themselves into a big time rebuild here.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you on this pick as well.
Yeah.
Gotta go with the brightest upside.
Yeah.
Because their future and well, their right now is not bright.
No.
So
No.
they just I agree with the perfect time to take a risk on a guy
Yep.
who you never know where he can go. So
yeah, I agree. I really like, the funny thing is, I think if they kept Bradley Beal, I would have
Mhm.
drafted Anthony Black because he is a really good defender
Yep.
out of Arkansas. So I probably would have leaned that. But with one in our mock draft, Asar falling, and two, Beal gone, it's like, yeah, you draft best player available. I think Asar has a really, nice ceiling, and he
Mhm.
fits onto that Wizards team and can start right away.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Great. There we go, baby. So with that, Mo, you're back on the clock. Pick 9 here. The Utah Jazz, who have 3 first-round picks this year.
Wow.
Yeah. They'll be busy.
They will be busy. And with their first one, man, this is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's between the top 2 guys easily.
Mm-hmm.
Um I think that the Jazz want Lowry to
Mm-hmm.
be the guy for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Not for some reason. It's just kind of weird because nowadays it's more of the guards league.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
some reason in Utah, I feel like they want him to be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I'm gonna take Anthony Black here.
I like it.
Defensive,
Mm-hmm.
slashing. He has great finishing.
Mm-hmm.
Point guard, shooting guard.
Yeah.
He can handle the ball pretty well too. He
Mm-hmm.
played a little bit of point at Alabama when Jelly Fam was
Mm-hmm.
not running it. I'm forgetting his name right now.
Yeah.
Freaking Javon Quinterly.
Yeah.
But no, I like Anthony Black. Great defensive ability. A little bit of a bigger guard, so
Mm-hmm.
grab some more boards for you, get down in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll help Colin Sexton out because Colin Sexton's more of a push the pace, get out in transition, offensive. So I like the fit here in Utah. Zay, what do you got?
This is probably who I would have picked.
Mm-hmm.
In most of my mock drafts, Anthony Black isn't here at this spot. So I think the fact he is, you go for it. I think he's a really solid player. And again, you just have them there and he's a great defensive guard. And obviously,
And isn't he one of the younger guys
yes,
too in this
yeah.
top 10?
Yep, yeah, he's only
Yeah.
19, and the Jazz are a team that is at least like playing to like lower end playoff caliber. It wouldn't surprise me next year. So I like it. You got 3 different picks. You draft Anthony Black first, and that sets the tone for a really solid draft. So I would agree with your pick here.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Love it. With this pick, the Dallas Mavericks, very, very interesting spot, obviously, with Kyrie Irving as free agent.
Mm-hmm.
You have Christian Wood, who I think is a great offensive player. He's a very good offensive player, but defensively, he can be a pretty big liability. The Mavericks in this spot, assuming they don't trade it, and I think this is probably a pick that will get moved at 10,
Mm-hmm.
I would have them drafting Taylor Hendricks He's a really great player. I'm kind of surprised he's here at 10, but it's the way the draft shook out. He's definitely on my top 10 of my big board, in that tier right below Amen and Asar. He's a great athletic 4, kind of has a little bit of like Jeremy Grant to him. He's a really solid two-way player, really sound defensively, and can also be a nice lob threat for you, and a guy who can cut to the bucket. Solid shooter as well, so it's not like, he's a liability and you don't have to guard him from 3. He is someone who commands a bit of respect. So I think for Dallas, trying to draft a guy who can immediately plop into the rotation for them, I think it makes perfect sense for Taylor Hendricks to go there at 10. And I think it's a steal, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. The things that stood out to me with Taylor were his wingspan, blocking ability, and the fact that, you can't just leave him alone from play. Like, you got to kind of have a guy there, because he'll knock down an open 3. He'll knock down. He had a pretty good couple mid-range shots in there. So he has an okay, respectable shot for a big guy. So I love it. And Dallas, that's where they need help. They need big help. So I love the pick.
Yeah, I think, regardless on if they keep Christian Wood or not, they could use another big athletic body, because they have Bertans and they have some of these other pieces. But Taylor Hendricks is a guy who could plop themselves into the rotation. It's going to take them a little time. They're not fully polished, but that's okay. And I think, they're a guy who can contribute today, though, and they're not going to reach their full potential this season, obviously. But they're a guy who can play, and you need some pieces ASAP, especially if you want to keep Kyrie around. So I like Taylor Hendricks here at 10.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, top 10 is complete. Move on to pick 11. The Magic are back on the clock. Selected Cam Whitmore at 6. What have you got?
Here, I'm going to go with a point guard. Out of the SSC, it's going to be Carson Wallace. I think that he is the best remaining point guard out of there's a lot of good guards remaining now in this list of players, but I think he's one of the better ones, and I think he has a lot of upside too. Kentucky produces a lot of great guards, a lot of great NBA players. John knows what he's doing. He picks up kids who have a good future out of them. So I think he can turn into a good prospect and a good player for the Magic. Zay, what do you think at 11? This is we're getting into kind of tough, murky waters.
I like Kaysen a lot. I think, he's another kind of like Anthony Black, a really solid defensive guard. He's a guy, obviously, as we talked about a bit earlier, Markelle Fultz has had, a bit of a resurgence, and it's been great to see. But long term, and obviously the Magic have to be thinking that way, of Markelle isn't going to be the point guard there for the next 10 years. Kaysen Wallace can come in and be a contributor. Yeah, they have Cole Anthony. They have a lot of guys there, but I like Kaysen Wallace at 11. I think that's a solid pick, especially with them going forward there with their earlier pick. So I like it. We both had a Magic pick in there, so, that's fun. On the clock here at number 12. And I got a little surprise coming in. Got to scroll a bit down.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So I think with the Thunder, it's an interesting team. As brought up earlier, Chet Holmgren is their rookie pick, right? They have that, and they have a plethora of picks to do whatever they want with, essentially. Great core pieces. You obviously love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Josh Giddey is a great player, a guy who can give you triple doubles. He's a great playmaker, facilitator. But I've got Victor Wembanyama's teammate, Bilal Coulibaly.
Okay.
He is an exciting player. There has been some people, and I don't really see it. There's been people that say he's like a 6'6" Giannis. I don't necessarily agree with that take, but I
Mm-hmm.
like Bilal a lot. He has really like gone up draft boards, and there's even a report I saw on Twitter that allegedly the Thunder have privately said to Bilal, "We're gonna take you at 12 if you're there," um,
Wow.
which is interesting. Whether that happens or not, or if it's just a made up rumor, we'll see. But Bilal is one of those players where it wouldn't surprise me if he went top 10, if he went to Washington at 8, if they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, hey, let's draft potential. But I really like Bilal. I think he's going to be a really sound player. And he's a guy who they can kind of move all across their rotation, 3, 4. You could even run a little bit of 2 if you're, playing a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Bilal a lot to the Thunder.
All right. I don't really have a lot to add to the pick
Yeah.
because I don't know who that is. But
I love
so
honesty.
I probably wouldn't have taken him there because I don't know.
Fair.
I think how he's 6'7", you said he's
Yeah.
like a small forward.
Yep.
Um I don't know. I probably would have went with best available here. I probably
Yeah.
would have went Zay Philosophy. And to
Yeah.
me, that player would have been Derek Lively out of Duke.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he's
I
gonna
love
be
Derek Lively. Yeah.
I think he's gonna be a really good center. But
I agree.
I trust your decision making, and we could
Well,
have another Giannis on our hands. I don't
you
know,
know,
man. Yeah.
hey, listen. If Bilal turns into a superstar, you heard it, okay? You heard it. It's on
We
this
talking ball.
podcast.
We talking ball
We
said.
talking ball. I can rock with some Bilal. Now, he's just one of those players on draft night. If he went an 8, it would be a surprise and be like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay. But it wouldn't be like, what are they thinking? That's crazy.
What?
It's like,
Yeah.
listen, he's a guy with a lot of upside, and the Thunder are kind of lucky because they got picks to not waste. Obviously,
Yep.
they don't want to waste a lottery pick, but they can be a little more aggressive. They can say,
Yeah.
hey, we'll take Bilal. We'll see
Mm-hmm.
what he can become, and maybe he becomes the next Bruno Caboclo. And
That's crazy.
it doesn't really ever pan out, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe not. Maybe he does have the Giannis type thing, and that's awesome. So we'll
Yeah.
see. But yeah, that's who I've got.
All right.
But
All right.
we're at your last pick,
My
number
final pick of the
13,
lottery.
the Toronto Raptors for you. Your last pick. What have you got?
It's funny that you started scrolling down. I thought I was gonna be the first guy to do so, but I'm
Mm.
gonna ask you to scroll down to number 19 for me and select
Hmm.
who I think is going to be one of the better players in the draft, one of the most slept on players in the draft, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Jordan Hawkins out of UConn, national champs.
Yep.
Sorry, East Coast.
Yeah.
We lived right next door, so we'll ride with them. New England, we'll ride with them.
Mm-hmm.
So we rock with UConn. But Jordan Hawkins, he's just a shot maker, man. Middies,
Mm-hmm.
threes, moving, catch and shoot, off the dribble. He can shoot any shot. He's just an amazing shooter,
Yeah.
amazing offensive player, unbelievable finishing ability. He has amazing length for a 6'5" shooting guard. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know the exact wingspan off the top of my head, but I know it's pretty long. I think it's nearing 7 feet.
Yeah.
So he's an exciting player, and I think he's one of the most slept on players in the draft. So
Yeah.
he's got to go in the lottery, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I think that is a solid pick. I
mhm,
probably would have went Jalen Hood Shafino only
mhm.
because but the reason I say that is I think Jordan Hawkins works great for a team that is competing now. Like
Facts.
a,
Yeah.
a team like I don't know what it is. I see this vision of Jordan
Yep.
Hawkins playing for the Lakers. I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
I just see him going there at 17. But I think he has the talent of a lottery guy, like you
Yeah.
said. I like it. I don't know what the Raptors are going to do, if they're going to blow things up. It looks like Fred VanVleet's probably gone and looking for like 100 million, maybe
My
more.
goodness. Yeah.
And obviously, if you're the Raptors and you're not quite set on competing, you don't do it. So
Yep.
Jordan Hawkins can help fill in some of that guard rotation. And now I like the pick. I like the pick.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. He's just been
Of
one of
course.
my guys since the beginning of the season.
Yep.
I loved UConn. My biggest L of the year is not picking them as my March bracket winner. So I sold on that. I sold on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we knew too. And we still made the mistake.
Yep.
So, you know. But we'll wrap this video up now. The last pick for me, number 14, the New Orleans Pelicans. Very difficult pick. Because we don't know what's gonna happen, if Zion's gone, if he's gonna stay.
Well, I'm assuming he's gonna get traded now because they don't want any tapes on their hands.
They don't want any film that isn't basketball related getting out. So it's a difficult one. I had Derek Lively going there, and I think it would be a great pick. However, Jalen Hood-Schifino is still on the board, guard out of Indiana, and the Pelicans are, I think this is the perfect thing. I think he is probably best player available.
Yep.
And he helps fit a need because you have CJ McCollum there at the 2. He spent some time at point guard, but Schifino can kind of go in there and be the primary ball handler, the guy who can play make for some of those guys. And, you know, McCollum is a sound shooter. Ingram is a sound shooter. Valanciunas is even a solid shooter as well. I think Derek Lively would have been great. And I still think if the Pelicans pick him, that it would be a great pick. But I think Schifino kind of slots himself into a team that I'm assuming wants to be in the playoffs. And I think has the talent, if they can stay healthy, which they haven't been able to be a playoff level team. So I like Schifino here to round out our lottery. So there we go. What have you got? Any other?
I'd agree with you there. Either Derek Lively or Jalen Hood-Schifino. They're the two best players I think remaining on the board.
Yeah.
So
we've got our full lottery here. Obviously, we got a couple standouts. The Grady Dick pick at 5. The Grady Dick pick is crazy to say out loud.
Had to do something. Had to do something a little off the walls, you know.
Hey,
so.
That and I had my.
I mean, he looks good there. He looks good. Look at the Rock Jock Jayhawk with the red. That's perfect fit. We low-key color coordinated this thing, Zay. Look at it.
We did. No, I like the Cam Whitmore in Orlando. We've got some. It's good. In terms of players that didn't get picked, I love Derek Lively. He's gonna take a couple years, but maybe not a couple years, but he's going to take a little bit of time. I think he's going to be very solid. I think Keontae George out of Baylor is really interesting.
Yes.
Because
he's interesting for sure.
he's like a Donovan Mitchell light.
Yes.
And that's not meant to be a knock on him at all, but it is like I see it in his game to where he could be a Donovan Mitchell type. But just doesn't quite crack this lottery. If he does, though, would not shock me at all on draft days. So, that is the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast mock draft 1 through 14. Leave us your thoughts in the comments. We'd be interested to hear them for sure.
Yeah, give me all the trash talk you want on the Grady Dick pick, but
the Grady Dick pick, baby.
I'll save the clip for when it happens on Thursday. Approximately 5:15.
Yes, dude. So, oh my! If it happens, the victory lap you were going to have to
crazy. I'm going crazy. I won't be back on stream for like 5 to 10 minutes.
No, until the next pick is up.
Yes,
just celebrating. So I respect it. Perfect, that is a close to our lottery mock draft. We hope to see all of you on Thursday during the stream. We're going to have some friends on, probably going to order some food and just kick it. It's going to be casual and fun. Talk about the prospects, talk about the big draft day trades that will happen. 100% will happen.
And we're for sure going to do full draft first and second round.
Yep.
Confirmed. Yep. So we'll be there for the whole thing. So if you got time, any time of the day, pop on. I'll be going for a couple hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're excited to do it. But we got one more thing to do before we sign off.
Oh man, sorry. It's been a little while. It's been a little while. I'm not prepared, but
it's been a little minute. So while you get one, because I got you, because that's what this is about.
Of course you do.
Song of the pod in honor of the T, in honor of the Spider-Man Miles Morales T-shirt I'm wearing. Mona Lisa.
Saw it with my cousins. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
movie
dude.
is fine.
Mona Lisa. No, you're spitting. You're spitting. You're right.
Okay. Yep.
Mona Lisa by Dominic Fike is the song. I have played that song out way too many times. It's amazing. It's great in the movie. It's a great listen. I just be like, anytime I'm down or like I need a little pick me up these past couple weeks,
get you up.
Boom.
Instant.
So that's my pick. What do you got, Mo? You got some for the people?
I do got something for the people. Since my departure from Flagrant Talk, there's been some big waves in the music industry with Mr. Gunna Wanna coming back, dropping a heater.
Talk.
I don't care if he ratted. Even
Doesn't
if
affect
he did,
me.
The music's fire, the album's fire, album of the year. Gunna Wanna, Mr. Bottom. So fire. A gift and a curse. Check it out. He's back. Gunna Wanna's back.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Thank you, sir.
Well, there's your two songs. There's the lottery. We hope to see all of you on Thursday, 4:50 Pacific Standard Time. Go ahead and leave your comments on how terrible this mock draft is, and berate us on draft day when we inevitably say things that you don't like. We're looking forward to it.
We're excited.
We hope all of you have an amazing day. And we'll see you all soon. The next live streaming video.
Yes, sir. We'll see everyone.
Peace, everybody.